Good afternoon, guys. So today's the middle of the week. It's actually, it looks snowy and cold behind you, but it's actually 0 degrees here in Moscow, which in my opinion is the worst weather. Much worse than freezing cold, because the snow that's already here is melting under your feet. You can't walk properly. It's really sleepy to walk on the roads. The cars drive over the snow, it all goes brown. Ugh. It's really horrible. So today we're heading to Nowinski Market. Nowinski Market is my favorite market in Moscow, and what I love about it is that you find cuisine from all over the world in this market, which is normally kind of hard to find in Moscow. Moscow doesn't really have the array of foreign foods which you'd find in a place like London. Here you have lots of Italian food, lots of Georgian food, and you have lots of sushi and bits of other things. But in the Nowinski Market you find really stuff from all over the world, and it's a great place for foodies, people who like to take pictures of food or just see colours of exotic fruits and stuff which you don't normally find in Moscow. The building is from 1986 and it was scheduled for demolition in 2001, 2002, but it was saved and it was gentrified, and now it's kind of a symbol of gentrification in Moscow. Markets changing from farmers markets to gourmet deli style markets, which you'd find in like hipster areas of London or Berlin or something. And you might be surprised to know that they have that here in Moscow, but it's right here in my local neighborhood. And you can see the building right next to me here, just behind me. It's kind of a spaceship looking thing. And I'm led to believe that once upon a time people didn't really like the building, but now they kind of do. It's a big part of the community here, and it's a place you can find excellent food, and it's actually a pretty cool place for celebrity spotting too. It's really popular with rich Russian people. So let's take a look. We begin inside the market next to a place called Peace Love Bread, which is a bakery, and next to it is a Moroccan place. Here we see different kinds of cakes, hummus, salads, baba ganoush, Viouat, which is a pastry thing, shakshuka, lots of other authentic Moroccan stuff. On the right here is a cake shop called Lubov и Sladosти, Love and Sweets, which is exactly what it says on the tin. This here is a fish, sushi, and generally sea product restaurant. Here are 5 different types of oysters with their names and places of origin. We can see Russia and Japan here. On the right is Co & Co, a cheese company with the Italian flag. And this on the left is a place with a mixture of different stuff, including sandwiches, some meat, some fish. Here we see some of their breakfast type foods: granola, omelette, Benedict with salmon, and a sandwich. As we continue, on the left we can see a bar called Prime Beef, which sells both food to go now and stuff to take home like Meat Deli. Here we see a selection of steaks. This place is called Shepka, which is a really nice place for burgers and other meat and bread style dishes. This place on the corner is a pastry and pie place. Here we see pies like meat and cabbage, vegan with vegetables, lemon, apple, etc. So you can see they have sweet and savoury stuff. Flower shops. This is Fresh, a completely vegan place with some incredible potato fries. Here we see a very popular place with lots of lovely Asian food. This place needs no translation, chowder and pie, which has a big selection including a wide range of what they call Australian pies, for example cheese and steak. Here we have a lovely selection of Korean food. And next to it, a Chinese food restaurant called Three Ducks by Beijing Duck Company, with all your stereotypical Chinese stuff like red lantern, the number 888, and the waving cat thing, which is actually Japanese. Here we see a restaurant called Hummus, which has Israeli cuisine. Next to it, Cypriot cuisine, and then Dos Tacos, which is a Mexican cuisine restaurant. This guy in yellow here works for Yandex.Yada, which is like Uber Eats or Deliveroo in the UK. Most of these restaurants here actually work with some type of delivery site. This wooden place ahead of us is Vietnamese cuisine with very faux traditional wooden building as their store. The workers all have the classic green hat with a red star, which is something you'd expect to see in Maoist China. This here is Armenian food. We can see hachapuri, soups, and all other kinds of traditional Armenian stuff. Moscow has quite a big Armenian community, so I bet this food is popular. After Armenian food, we have here a restaurant which sells classic Tajik and Uzbek plov. After that is food from Dagestan. This shop is called Dagestanskaya Lavka. This here is the last really small niche place, and it sells pastries and pies. You can see salsa, lepeshka, which means flat bread, and even types of pizza. This here is a bakery with excellent bread and cakes. I highly recommend their black bread. As you can see here, the Nowinski Market is full of colourful and bright fruits which are great to look at even if you're not buying. This stall ahead is selling various other things like baskets and vieniki, which are tied together twigs and leaves to be hit extremely hard with in the sauna, which Russians call banya. This here is the market's ice cream shop, which has a selection of the bizarrest flavours of ice cream you've ever heard. Here you can see mango and ginger ice cream, sugar-free strawberry ice cream, gorgonzola blue cheese ice cream, blue matcha ice cream, black gelato ice cream, fei joie ice cream, Soviet favorite French plombier ice cream, strawberry and basil ice cream, even spirulina ice cream. Next door is a small vegan supermarket, which certainly wouldn't look out of place in London, Berlin, or New York. And now we're going to take a walk through the main part of the market with meats, fish, fruits, vegetables, etc. And I'm going to talk more about the building, the market, and its history. There's been a market in this location, Danilovskaya Square, long before this building was built. Really close to this market is Danilov Monastery, which is the oldest monastery in Moscow, built in 1281 by Prince Daniel of Moscow, Danil Alexandrovich in Russian, who was the youngest son of Alexander Nevsky. Because of the monastery being a really busy place, trade flourished and many people were buying and selling things in this area from the late 13th, early 14th century. Almost 700 years later, in 1963, Moscow City Council turned the market into a collective farm market, as was the trend at that time in the Soviet Union. The idea to put a dome over the market came up in the 70s, and it was finally completed in 1986. By the 2000s, it was in pretty bad shape, and in 2017 it was bought by Ginza Project, which is a restaurant group from St. Petersburg, which now has 120 restaurants all over Russia and the world, and it generally has a pretty good reputation, even in London and New York. They invested about 1 billion rubles into the renovation, keeping the architecture of the building and dressing it up to modern standards, and now we can see the product that they've created today in my video. I hope you enjoyed this video and the information I gave you, and if you did, please like and comment, and if you're new, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video. Goodbye.